welcome to Lala's live stream. So for today's live stream, guys, we're going to wash clothes. Wash our baby's clothes. I just received this delivery yesterday from TikTok. Send clothes. Newborn clothes. So we have to wash. So we have three sets of the one with gloves, with socks, with hats. And then we have the one for the belly button. This one is the big. This one is the, what do you call that, sleeveless. It's so cute. Sleeveless. And then the one with the, hello sis Aba, kumusta? Tapos the one with the long sleeve. Ang cute. So cheap. And then this one with the shorts. And then with the pajama. Ang cute. Also, kamusta sis Ava? Also, I ordered this one. This is very cheap as well. I like the fabric. It's very cottony. Is it twins, girl? No. I like this one. The swaddle. It has zipper. So I ordered two kinds. So cute. I like the colors. The one with the zipper and then the one with the, what do you call that? I would already have my good posted ready. Because you already see this these guys. It's very cheap also. I ordered in TikTok. And then it arrives very fast from Manila. How's your day, Chris? Good to see you. I thought you were here. Two babies. What? Charis, it's the best movies. Ang hirap sa awa ko, alam mo lang. Tawag dyan. Nagkaano ako. Nagkakaroon ako ng 2 days na siyang panigas-nigas. Nakatakot. Sabi ko nga, huwag mo nga excited kasi nakakaano. Hindi pa siya pwedeng lumabas. Parang very excited na siya lumabas. Saan ko na kinagpinay? Kasi yung mga ganitong mahal. It's like 10 USD. This one is 10 USD. It's so expensive. Compared to this one set, only less than 500. This one's, all of this, less than 500. This one for only one. If you buy in those department store, this one is already like 499 or wait. Yeah, this one is 509 already. Can you imagine that? The difference, right? Chris, hope Jeremy been learning. He's fine. He's doing his fine. This one is 489 for only one piece. Oh my gosh, almost the same price as this one. But then you know the quality is really different too. But for newborn, this one is fine. Because it's very common. Anything could have happened in that time span. Good thing you were strapped. Yeah. I mean, I guess you just push back because I'm sure you just tired of. So we'll try our. I ordered this one demo. I don't know how this is. So this is portable. And then you can, what they call it, collapsible. I mean. You got to pick and choose your battles wisely. Just turn out the brakes on here, but. So I only bought 2 of these. I'm trying to prepare on this first stuff first. And then this one, this is so cute. This one is 449. Just this one is 449. This one and this one. And then this is separate also, 289 pesos for this one. Ano kasi sa August pa, pero I think it will be like early, I don't know, early or last week of July. Yeah, so like I have a 1 month already. Hopefully it will be like full term, right? Ang cute mo. Nisa, hello, what happened to my, basta, to my channel, eh? Looks like different. How are you doing, Lee? Looks like different. Looks like something happened. I like this color. And then I also bought one. What is it the one? This one is 599, only one. That's crazy. Excited ka na sis Ava. Lalo na kami. Excited. This one. Ang receiving blanket. Silver. Hooded blanket or hooded blanket. This one is the, what do they call this? Para sa ano? Para sa puso. Ano ko tawag din sis? Maganda din po. Pero may na-order din ako 400 something. Yun na, almost 500. Na one set na. May kasama na rin pala. So this one looks different. Very, very cotton. So that's fine. So 6 of this. So I have 9 already. 9 pieces. Na ganito. And then lampin. Meron tayong lampin. This one is 419.75. Ang ganda ng tayo lampin. Aning na ito. So, tapos, after we wash, we also need to iron. 419.75. So, I'm trying to this one how to wash. So you have to like 10 minutes for regular wash, 15 minutes soft wash, 2 minutes for semi-dehydration. Oh, it has semi-dehydration. Semi-dehydration. And then, so I tried this one, but then I've seen other brands. I tried this one first. Kung kamusta naman. Pero okay naman siya. Human nature. No harm chemicals. Praying for your safe delivery, sis. Yes, safe. Thank you so much, sis. Praying for safe, normal, and sana okay lang lahat. Tingnan mo yung batas ko yung panayin yun. Thank you so much, sis Alka. Kamusta yung weather dyan sa inyo? I'm sleeping now. I think I watched this before. Yes, sis. Kung meron ka, tas why not? Pero parang meron naman. Sis, how are you doing? Healthy na, tapos ano pa? For 3 months. Then mix in 4 to 5 months. O kasi mahirap din pag ano sis, pag puro lang sa'yo, hindi ka makagawa na ibang bagay. Independent woman Philippines, hello, kamusta? Kamusta, kamusta? As long as meron gatas,
What we need to do is raise taxes
ayan
for
ba yung
those who
ginagawa
have
ko?
more than enough and should share a little bit more with the rest of the
Ay,
society.
naku.
There's nothing hidden from plain view about who I am and what I want to fight for. I'm not secretly telling everyone I'm a socialist now. This is something we built the campaign around.
Socialist utopia on the back of multi-millionaire now with the people nobody was saying what he's gonna do. The billionaires say he's gonna live in Florida.
Ready ko naman siya, so kamusta kasi? How is it?
Alright, let's get to, this maniac that I guess is now one of the Democratic nominations for mayor of New York City. Now, this guy is absolutely insane and out of control in my personal opinion. I do think that Mayor Adams will win, because I think he's an independent. And so I think Mayor Adams will win, because I think that every Republican that live in New York, which is millions of Republicans, believe it or not, should all vote for Mayor Adams. I think what happened last election is that a lot of Republicans voted for other candidates, and Mayor Adams was a Democrat, and they didn't vote for him. So the Democrats actually elected Mayor Adams. But I think this time he can have support from reasonable, rational Democrats and Republicans. And I hope that Mayor Adams, if you look at the competition here, I hope that Mayor Adams actually wins. Unless there's a New York mayor that's going to run against Mayor Adams, that's a staunch Republican, a person who believes in the American first agenda, you name it. But let's listen to what they had to say on Fox News about this radical, how long the column was, how it's road clip.
He wants to have a grocery store, social workers, to replace the police because that's going to help. He wants $60 billion for affordable housing.
Tumakas pala po.
Maybe that's
Okay.
for newborn, $1 billion minimum
Bakit
wage.
ng host niyo?
How can someone vote for this?
The host is
He's a snake.
Say a wait, I'll give you a wait. Wait here, I'll give you moderator. I don't know why you don't have moderator with you.
He wants to raise tax on 1% of the upside.
What are you having for lunch na ba?
As a man, you don't have to
Ako,
do it.
prepare naman lang siya. Kagising ko lang kasi. 10:30 yata ako nagising.
Which he is. He wants to do
Kakain ko lang ng bread.
He doesn't understand the power of government and how you must make sure you do
Late na lang ako na matulog na to kasi sintayin ko yung
I'm looking forward to being on the campaign trail and showing New York that you
tingnan natin
can't
kung
go wrong.
saan na nakikita ko.
New York is never surrender or quit. I'm never going to quit for the city.
That is so interesting. You're in the position, so you know you don't have the authority to do that. If you if you're not going to do it, to go. And apparently you look at this
Try lang natin.
Now, Cuomo did say he hasn't ruled out
Try
whether or not
this.
he's going to run as an independent. But Trump is going to be on your ticket and would run against you.
Maybe I will
How
try
would that
to-
affect your race and field?
I've said this over and over again. People know me by saying three things: stay focused, no distractions, and grind. That's what everyday New Yorkers do. I'm a working class man. I'm probably the first working class union card carrying man in the history of the city. Andrew, at this time, should realize that the time has moved on. He just did not bring the energy of wanting to be mayor. And New York they have this simple test. They know, do you want a job? You can't come out on weekends, go to a black church, go eat fried chicken, and all of a sudden saying that I have the black vote, I have the working class people vote. It's just not the reality. People know if you want the job. He didn't want the job. What is your phone been like since
Tango! Labas muna ako sa Sky na kumalas. Sige, take your time sa Sarah. Thank you so much. How are you doing, Tango?
Prime Minister Netanyahu becomes the city. So now all of a sudden, Eric Adams, you might be the only thing to stop
How's your
all of
day?
Curtis Lewa, I think, for becoming the next mayor. What has it been like since the results have basically been all official?
A lot of communications. I think I
Better
slept
the small things.
an hour and a half because the phone was going off all night. People understand this one.
Okay, breakfast soon. What are you having for
A lot of people
breakfast?
So he goes on to say, you know, give his thoughts on how people have been responsive to the victory of this idiot, and then also him running again, and being the buffer from electing somebody who's crazy. Now, him being a Muslim extremist, potentially, or whatever they call it, is irrelevant. $30 minimum wage is insanity. Do you understand? $30 minimum wage. That means every single job that there is to be had has to pay you at least $30 an hour. That means working at a convenience store at $30 an hour. That means washing toilets at a school
Let's try it.
as a
Standard
janitor is at
attendance.
least $30 an hour. That's not sustainable. And then he wanted to tax every corporation, bring the tax up by 4%. He said in New Jersey it's 11%, they're at 7%. He want to bring New York corporate tax to 11%.
Oh.
That's 4% higher than what it is today. Corporations are going to be paying hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars more in tax. For what? And then he goes on to say he want to add a 2% tax hike on people that's making $1 million or more a year. The fact that he's doing it is insane. But the reason that he's doing it is even more insane. They want to do this so they can capitulate
It's not
to
great,
the
actually,
in
so
our country.
just 10
Free
minutes
buses.
is
I mean, look, man, he want a complete socialist utopia on the backs of multi-millionaires and billionaires.
We have
Now,
minimum
people
wage
go out
in
to the
UK.
city, what he's doing.
Is this
Well,
funny?
you gotta say, he's doing it before.
What is your minimum wage in
Their
UK?
projects. That's why the stuff don't work. You know you messed up with Mr. Mamdani is getting dissed and getting exposed on both sides. How do you know, Brandon? All you gotta do is look at the articles. You can see that
I
normally
have
the
a
left
relative in
capitulating
London.
and taking sides with
Sometimes she receives
Democrat socialists like
100
AOC and others.
as a
But this
gift
guy, I
from
wouldn't
the
call him
Oxford.
Mamdani, but his name is
That's awesome.
Mamdani. But Mr. Mamdani knows, right? Stunned the establishment. Literally ran away from reporters asking about Mamdani. Establishment Democrats are panicking.
I know last year,
And
is it
not
last
only is the
year,
left saying
they
it, they're saying it
they
on the right
increased
as
the
well.
minimum
Is that
wage
there's
and also
panic
the
ensuing. Dumpster fire and go to the Democrat Party. All those things
benefits
because
contribution.
panicking. And not only are saying it, they're saying it on the right as well, is that there's a panic ensuing. Dumpster fire and go to the Democrat Party. All of those
Then
things
it's
because of nut job money.
£10 an hour, £10. How much is pound right now? 60. It's
But Mr. Mamdani is getting
£10. Oh, almost the
Right.
same.
Stunned the
Wait, I'll check
establishment.
that. I know our
Literally ran away.
minimum wage now is. We'll check out. £10 is equivalent to £10 per peso. So it's 777 right now. Philippines minimum wage. But then we have different, in the province and in the city. Philippines minimum wage right now. Okay, your minimum wage is higher than ours. We have now non-agricultural workers is 647 pesos, 45 pesos. Hello, Chago, Batera, Brazil. Hello.
Conservatism is not talking about, possibly because it's New York. But mentioning that, I don't want you to get blind spotted. I think more Republicans need to talk about the topic because it's a topic of concern for the Republicans. But don't get blind spotted.
Okay, so
Make sure you're reading and
our minimum
digesting
wage
information
here
on both
is-
sides. Let me give you an example. If the words are red here, that's for Republicans. As you see, there's no people on the right that are writing about this topic. The vice versa. The blue is to the left. And here it goes. It says a Canadian has died in ICE custody, causing
So, Philippines 645. Oh, so ours is 8.30 per hour.
And here it goes. It says
Yours is
a Canadian
10?
has died in ICE custody, causing cause under investigation. So Republicans are not talking about it, obviously, because it's an ICE death. Democrats are all over it because they want everything to be bad for the Republicans. Let's go down here because only the right is talking about this. Jamal Bowles discussed the impact of racism on health disparities in Black America. The left don't want you to know how stupid he is. That's why they're not talking about it. But anyway, make sure you're informed on both sides. So make sure you guys subscribe here because only the right is talking.
Tiago, how are you? I think I know you. You've
So
been a friend
Republicans are not talking
long
about
time
it,
ago.
obviously, because it's an ICE death. Democrats are all over it because they want everything to be bad for the Republicans. Let's go down here because only the right is talking about this. Jamal Bowles discussed the impact of racism on health disparities in Black America. The left don't want you to know how stupid he is. That's why they're not talking about it. But anyway, make sure you're informed on both sides. So make sure you guys subscribe to my link at ground.news/Tatum or download the mobile app and use offer code Tatum for 40% off the unlimited Advantage plan to see through media bias and stay informed. I got to start with the video. Let's expose this food to the fake acid cook-pot rolling.
Because I think that New Yorkers, more than they hate a politician they disagree with, they hate a politician they can't trust.
On the subject of trust, we've adopted different speaking accents in different scenarios.
But they go to their local bodega.
Is there one that's real and one that's affected?
What I would say is, as any immigrant knows, having been born in Kampala, Uganda, and then raised in South Africa and moving here when I'm 7 years old, is there different parts of my life?
One-way tour, is it one-way tour, is it one-way tour?
One time he was starting another worldwide press tour, back when he was a rapper.
Bring the fish, bring the fish.
Spice.
Disney movie directed by his mother.
Next is in hard work. Go a long way. Here in New York City, this is how I speak.
Breakfast meal. 77 Philippines peso.
Let's go to the next one.
Ours, yeah, 77. Ours is 645. It's about 8.30 pounds. There is 10. That's awesome. Everything expensive.
So, pushing propaganda in a foreign language, promoting what? I don't know what he's saying in a foreign language, but it doesn't appear that he's talking about safer streets, improving police. He want to replace the police department. He want free rent. Like, I don't even know how people can logically come to the conclusion that any of this that he's doing makes sense. How are people voting for this guy? Are people that stupid or what? And I mean, maybe the answer is yes. Let's go to his victory speech where he made a promise to oppose Trump and ICE froze it.
Workers have stood up for a city they can afford. A city where they can do more than just struggle. And it's where the mayor will use their power to reject Donald Trump's fascism, to stop mass ICE agents from deporting our neighbors, and to govern our city as a model for the Democratic Party.
I'm going to oppose Donald Trump, and I'm going to keep ICE from deporting illegal aliens in our country. Let's put this in perspective real quick, because I had some numbers that I want to put out here. What are we those numbers at? Nah, I don't think that's all. Let's just go to the next one. I think that's on another topic. I'm confusing it with Chicago. But this fool crying at Tom Hogan over immigration enforcement program. Yeah. Political theater. Let's go to it now. I'm gonna show you everything you need to know about this guy. Brother.
For me, when you ask what does it mean to be a democratic socialist, for me it means to be fighting for a society in which dignity is guaranteed to each and every member of this place. And I believe that the state should play a critical role in the distribution of that dignity and in ensuring
tired.
these
I get
actions.
more than now.
One place where Republicans would be correct, there are taxes that I want to raise. They would like to portray this
I think
as
you are
being
now
trying to raise
having a
taxes on
pension,
someone
right?
making 50, 60,
You're
70,
enjoying your
which is not the
your
case.
retirement now.
What we need to do is raise taxes on those who have more than enough and should share a little bit more with the rest of the society. There's nothing hidden from plain view about
How's
what I
your
am and what I want
cats?
to
How
fight
many
for. I'm not secretly
remaining
telling
in
everyone
your
I'm a
house
socialist
down
now.
there?
This is something we built the campaign around.
But I can't stop eating. But this is the foolery and asinine I just made up a word, you can use it for free. The asinine of people who are claiming that raising tax on corporations and wealthy only affect rich people, and minimum wage only affects, only positively affects people who are working. If you raise corporate tax, businesses are going to raise their prices. They are not going to just take a hit because they don't have to take a hit. Just the same way that they think that they're bullying corporations by saying, we'll raise the taxes and we challenge you
Nine cuts
to
don't
try to leave the state. Good luck. The
Nine
corporation's
cuts.
like,
Is
we're
that
going to raise
all?
our prices and we challenge you to go buy from somewhere else. We challenge you to go to Walmart somewhere else. Where you going to go? It's the only Walmart in town. It's the only place you buy furniture in town. They're going to raise corporate tax by 3-4%, and they're just going to raise the price by 3-4%, and they're going to raise the price by 10%.
Oh, it's gone.
What are New Yorkers going to do? Now that they claim the minimum wage is $30,
Let's check how this
well, if the minimum wage is $30, that means people are making a lot more money. That means that corporations can make you spend more money. Let's give an example. If I was selling a product for $30, and the demographic that buy the product can easily afford $30. If the demographic that buys my product can now afford $60, it won't hurt me at all as a corporation to raise the price to $40, $50. They can afford $60, I'll raise it to $50. And at the end, or I raise it to $60. And at the end of the day, what happens is, they tax the corporations, they give people more money, everything becomes more expensive.
It's very
And therefore, the people that got more money ain't really seeing more money because they just paying more. What are we talking? People do not pay taxes.
Let's
like
use
they
the
think
same
they do.
soap.
They have enough resources, financial security, that they can leave New York and go live in Florida somewhere and still spend half the time in New York. They can have a house in New York, spend most of their time in Florida, pay no state income tax, live off the tax code of Florida, and still enjoy the benefits of Chicago, I mean not Chicago, but New York when it's not freezing cold. You can't do that. You gotta go to work when it's cold, when it's the summer. You gotta go to work and pay all the taxes that they enforce. I don't get it, man. I don't get why they lie about what they believe. You cannot pay minimum wage $30 an hour. That is insane. Because what happens in a corporation where your manager is making $30, $31 an hour, your entry level person is making $20 an hour. What is the manager gonna have to get paid? If the base guy that's at the front desk is making $30 an hour, then the person that's managing him got at least make a percentage of this. They got to come that person up to $36, $40.
Put this.
So make it even make sense. That's a strain on the economics of a corporation.
Maybe one more when Saks kicks the bucket. Ah. Still naughty, huh? How about Bino?
Mayor Montgomery, we welcome Prime Minister Netanyahu to New York City for whatever he comes for, given the US is not a signatory to the ICC, so he can travel to the US, unlike a lot of other countries. But Mayor Montgomery welcomes Netanyahu to the city. No, as Mayor New York City, where arrest Benjamin Netanyahu, this is a city that our values are in line with international law. It's time that our actions are also. Even though the U.S. is not a signatory to the ICC, no, it's time that we actually step up and make clear what we are willing to do to showcase the leadership that is sorely missing in the federal administration.
So this guy, and I know this guy is a problem. It just sounds like a problem. You're going to arrest a political leader of another country with what authority? What authority does local, state law enforcement, what authority and jurisdiction do they have over a leader of a sovereign nation? So when Benjamin Netanyahu comes to, when you're not going to be able to do it, but if Benjamin Netanyahu comes to New York, because there's a lot of Jewish people that live in New York, and he comes to give a speech for Mayor Adams, or I guess when this guy, I think he's going to get elected, and you go arrest him for what? What crime are you going to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu for? Trespassing? You're going to arrest him for a civil infraction? You're going to arrest him for a state law violation? State police cannot arrest because of federal charges. So the federal government is going to have to do something federally if Benjamin Netanyahu is going to be held to account for anything.
Ken, 31 soon. Well, 32, that's old for it. How many lives compared to human? How
And they talk about
old is
international law. Well, if you are now enforcing international law, everybody that's a former politics is a
He has a good life for sure.
Even me, if I'm living there, I think I will live longer because you have a nice garden, you have a nice garden there.
It has nothing to do with law and order. Last put Joy Reid, who was by far the dumbest person on the internet. She is number one. This girl is number one in many categories. I want to send her an award. She's the dumbest person on television, dumbest person on the internet, dumbest black woman ever lived, dumbest black person ever lived, and dumbest person on CNN.
Let's check
She
this
is a
one.
rock star when it comes to being a dumb.
Three,
After my father's family that I have, because everyone over 50 years old who remembers Times Square in the 1970s and 1980s when you could walk through, it was all pornography and crack and muggings and rapes and robberies. Everyone who remembers that is going to vote for America. The New York Times did read an endorsement, did say, please don't vote for Montgomery. As the Daily News, as the New York Post. So anybody who knows
ooh, I like it. They say 7 years for every year, 7 times. Wow, he's already 100 plus. That's awesome. 100 plus years old. I think I'll just use the same soap because it's still very lovely. Just wash it. I like this one because it has three modes. So we still have like 1, 2, 3. Still have a lot to push forward. That can't be right. That can't be right. Sucks really. 7 times. Yeah, sorry. It's 200 plus. My computation. I just I just realized my brain is shrinking. If you are since you're pregnant, your brain is shrinking. It's too small. It's 210.
And he's 30-something years old. You are going to have to be incredibly fulfilled and have a real mission and mission of success in New York so you can have a chance. He don't even have that. And this law and scattergang is going to probably compare a 32-year-old man with Donald Trump who is in his 60s. When he was probably 60 years, yeah, 60 or 70 something, he ran for office. And decades of business skills and experience, multi-billion-dollar portfolio of real estate moguls who build businesses in other countries and have been involved in and have been involved in things for decades.
Porridge for morning. Oh, I like it too. I like porridge in the morning.
As many successful businesses, he knows people, he made education, you name it, Trump had it. And you prepare him for this one.
Especially when we're sick, yeah. Porridge. With ginger. I put porridge ginger. I also put some, what do you call that? Spring onion. It's out spring onion. Some. Cinnamon. Cinnamon? I'm not sure. Maybe in my tea. It's so cold.
after I rinse everything. But honey for me, okay. Just a little bit. I didn't try it. Not me. It tastes good. I have to try it.
If I move everything to text, and I just said text, I didn't even specifically say where it is. I said Dallas. Which one is it? But I said Dallas. Scott said Dallas. And I said, how would I, percentage-wise, would I lose money or would I have a little more economic strength in Texas? It said you will gain 23%. I think it's like 23% more economic freedom. It's 23% cheaper than in Texas. What it says. Then I go off and I pick California. I said, now, with those numbers, if I look at California with those numbers, it says 73% more expensive. 73%. That's almost, I almost will be paying double what I pay in Scottsdale, Arizona to just run and operate the same.
How's the weather there? Tango. Toast as well. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is to say, somebody who's doing
But if I have porridge, I'm not having bread.
the people in New York that are wealthy will say, well, New York, I'm just going to lose the world. I'm going to lose somewhere else. I'm going to take my money and my corporation with me. And then you think that they're going to have either a bus.
Sometimes I prepare scallop, strawberry jam on toast. I just have cream cheese and my pickle. Idol, hello. Hindi ko alam bakit nawawala yung mga ano. Kamusta, Idol? Nawawala yung mga moderator. Anong nangyayari? Kamusta, Idol? Good to see you. Laba-laba tayo. Tinry ko yung aking mini washing machine. Para lang sa baby mo. Ang liit. Sobrang liit. Ano siya, portable. Tapos, collapsible. Pwede mo paliitin. Kamusta si baby? Kailan nalabas? Sa August, Idol. Pero feeling ko baka last week ng July. Kasi usually, advance ng 2 weeks already. Pero parang lalabas na siya. Parang excited na siya lumabas. Kamusta? Kaya nga nag-prepare na ako ng mga damit. Para anytime ba, tatakbo na lang. Mga in-order sa TikTok. Parang within 24 hours lang, deliver kayo dito.
Wherever you are headquartered, as long as you do business in the same environment.
Dali lang ang deliver.
We're talking about corporations that are making millions of dollars. Not many people, but in profit. And the second one is taxing the top 1%.
Kamusta? Kamusta ang weather dyan?
Taxing them just by a flat 2% tax.
Nakakamis dyan
I know
nag-hike.
business listening is not going to be happy about this. Depends on what the tax policy is very clear. This is about $20,000 a year. It's around here. And all of these things together, I think every New Yorker's life there, including those residents.
Kailan ang bakasyon? Umuulan dito, grabe, araw-araw. Buti pa pala dito yung weather. You know, even the forecast said it's raining, thunderstorm, lightning, gano'n. Hindi naman. Parang ano lang, uulan siya, saglit lang. Baka December ako. Yan, Christmas siya kanong year, masaya. Iba talaga kasi pag family niya, kasama pag Christmas. Iba yung dating, iba yung pasok ng taon.
First class, one-way ticket away from New York. I'm telling you on the phone what he said.
May candy.
So 56 told this guy, but
Matapang din yung human nature.
the radical socialist theology that this guy is speculating. I hope that New Yorkers are not stupid enough to vote for him. Let's see, there was this talk about
10 minutes lang yung daba ko nito kasi hindi naman mabilis.
fine, but I guess
It's
that was
going
like
to get
just
hot in your face and
grab
feels like spring in your place. Yeah, your flowers are blooming. How's your garden, Tango? For sure, nag-prepare na kayo ng lunch. Idol. 12:10 na. Iba talaga yung ulo nito. Ano lang po? Sobrang very soft.
Like I was pointing around because
Garden looks fantastic. Yeah, I can tell.
DC went to his house.
Because if it's raining and then sun, oh my gosh.
The day after. Like this guy does not stop. And that
So,
extreme
done with the
physicality,
second batch.
extreme
Oh my
endurance,
gosh.
because he's just constantly working. That means something.
Yeah.
It counts.
Very,
If you take months off, you take, like this was the thing that I was thinking about with John Jones. John Jones said he needed 6 months to prepare for Aspinall. He's going to fight Aspinall. So they were trying to make a deal, and then he decided to retire. But in 6 months, he's not training, like at all. He just doesn't train. Like, in between fights, just doesn't train.
yeah,
Which he used to a lot when he was younger too, which is I always thought was crazy.
That is crazy to me. I always saw guys do that, like when I was in my 20s, and like I would watch these really big fighters just not train unless it was a training camp time. I'd be like, fuck that, I'll never be in that way. I don't know, man. That's like a really weird one to me. But I don't know if that's just because I know a lot of guys that do that.
But look at John, greatest of all
Yeah.
we have a lot of
How did he do that?
I really don't
Got to
know.
water
Like, I don't know how that
today.
works.
Yeah.
Like I want it to make sense in my head that like the harder you work, the more shit you get. And then which is like true to an extent, but then you have like these weird outlier guys that maybe have something more figured out than me that I don't have figured out or whatever, but I mean that to me is like completely unacceptable in my head. Like I think that I really hate when people say that they want to be something and then they don't do any of the actions to like actually do that thing that they're saying that they want to be.
Right.
So I don't get to walk around being like, yeah, I'm gonna be a world champion. I want to be a world champion real bad, and then not do any of the fucking actions. You know, like then I'm just a stupid person. You know.
Well, I think John is just so fucking talented that he can pull that off.
Yeah.
That's the outlier.
Mhm.
It's like he was just so good. He was so good. He could do it. He could party. He could still fuck guys up like what he said to Cormier at the press conference for the second fight. I beat you when I was on the stage.
I saw that video the other day.
This is the thing, we've got to watch that. There's so much, like, they're playing with their food, essentially, until, like I always point to with John, the first Gustafsson fight, which by all accounts he didn't train.
Oh really?
Yeah, barely trained, just party, and beat Gustafsson and pulled it off in the last round, which was really crazy. Then comes back in the second fight and is like, okay, motherfucker, now I train. And just destroys it, just runs right through it.
Wish God was a good
No, right? And let's not go to that joke. Well, I think it's just talent, man, and it's also genetics. Like both his brothers are super athletes.
Yeah.
He's just a phenomenal specimen, and then he's got a great mind for fighting. You can't discount his in-cage IQ because it's fucking phenomenal.
I do think two people have different wired brains too, where some people need like cool down time.
Well, it's just become wiser too. It's why when you see that John Jones thing, I'm sure you saw the police cam. Did you see that?
I did recently. I didn't know if it was old or
No,
what.
it's a new one.
It's like this week.
Yeah.
It's like
He's drunk on the phone.
Yeah.
Following the cops, like,
Yeah, I don't know the details of it. Was he driving a car?
who knows?
Yeah.
The girl in the car said he was driving, the car was wrecked, and John's gone, and she grabbed him out. Hi, John. John's on the
Hi,
phone
Mom.
with the cops.
Okay, tango. In UK, they are lazy and flush diapers down toilet and block. That's crazy. Maybe they have a lot of money to for the repair.
Yeah, I hope so too, but you know, it is what it is.
That's very expensive.
Yeah. You like riding the line?
Casey, how's it going?
I think that's
Washing
one of the reasons
clothes.
it's so good too, 'cause he's so
I have my
quiet.
mini washing machine here. So
Yeah,
it's
just
not.
genuinely didn't give a fuck. Really had this ultimate confidence. That's so
It's
simple.
flexible washing machine.
One more kick, and then you guys is like, nah, what it used to be. Yeah. And Aspinall is a fucking beast, man. I know there's a lot of questions, never been out of the first round, a lot of questions, but never been out of the first round because he fucks everybody up in the first round. Like, that's a fact. Yeah. You know? Yeah, I really wanted to see that fight, but also at the same time, I appreciate it. I forget which interview it was recently, but John was pretty honest in it. He was like, look, man, like, I don't want to fight up and coming tough guys. He was like, I want to fight guys with seasoned champions that have names. And I was like, that could also be interpreted as you don't really want to fight kind of the best guys that there are right now. You want to fight like a certain category of fighter who you're comfortable fighting, but you don't want to fight the guys that are tough and they're saying that you're going to win. And
How's your day,
that's
Casey?
essentially how I interpreted what he was saying in different words, which I appreciated, the honesty.
Well, it's also money, right?
Yeah.
Because, and I think he's wrong, because I think Aspinall's a star. I really do.
Yeah.
I think he's saying who was the no one. Aspinall's a star.
Huh?
And when I get, when people ask
No.
questions,
Yeah.
it's being called
Maybe
out,
this one.
is John
I think I need to ask
He's constant.
the guy for the maintenance here.
To me,
The bill strap.
Are you putting food down there again?
Huh?
Are you putting food down?
What?
Are you putting food down?
I hear, yeah.
You are? Don't.
I mean the trash. Yeah.
Let's work this out.
Not the drain?
Not the same. But sometimes you cannot avoid it. It's going inside. Especially the small
That
stuff.
guy, as a heavyweight champion, is so fucking marketable.
But yeah, they need to clean it actually every week.
You know, he flatlined Stipe. He flatlined Alistair.
You just clean it once
He's fucking terrifying.
in 1 month.
That's the heavyweight champion.
So I think I need to
For
ask
that
the
guy
guy.
to walk away from the belt and then all of a sudden and then get knocked out by Anthony Joshua and then come back and destroy that dude in PFL. What's his name again? What a big, tall Brazilian dude. Ground and pounded into unconsciousness. That's what. That guy's.
Oh, yeah, that guy was beautiful. Oh, yeah.
They really jacked. Yeah, he's the guy that KO'd
It's really, yeah?
He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's terrifying.
How
And
come?
Francis is destroyed.
Man, put food down the drain.
I don't.
And everybody knows that for the guy. Like, that's the fight that, that's the big fight.
It's a shame when that shit happens in the sport, dude. I hate it. I see it happen all of the time. And I can't help but think about it. It's like, hopefully it's just maybe my business.
Thank you
stuff,
so much,
but I
Time. We'll
really-
take your
I think that's
time.
some of
See you
it
again
is
next
real, and
one.
that's kind of what I try to drift away from.
Maybe I just told the
My philosophy on winning the belt has always been, if I can't beat whoever it is, if it's like a number 10 ranked Umar, or if it's a number 2 ranked whoever, if I can't beat that person, then I don't deserve the belt, and I don't think that I should get it. Like, it clearly doesn't represent what it represents if it doesn't mean that I beat all the best guys on the way to doing so.
Right.
Not everyone really has that philosophy, and I get it, because once you start involving money, and money is taking care of your family, which is what, is kind of an excuse to be greedy sometimes for people. It's just never really been my philosophy, and I think that it's kind of a shame when that stuff happens, because in my head, we're doing two things. We're seeing who the best fighter in the world is, and we're getting people to watch so that the fans can appreciate something that I find to be the most loved thing in my life, next to my wife, so, I don't know, I think it's a shame when that shit happens, especially when it's like very, anyway, but also, at the same time, I don't really think that that's too
How's
much of
your
what
day?
John Jones
How's the
is
weather?
doing. I'm
It's
more
12:21
speaking
in
in
the
terms of
afternoon. In
what
what
I
time is
kind of
it
see
there?
in other people. I think John Jones also has to have some level of awareness around. Tom's a young guy, and we age. You know,
Yeah.
we age, and that's okay.
John's not a natural.
That too.
John still connects to the father.
Yeah, even in his heavyweight fight, he looked like,
A little
yeah,
soft.
yeah.
Yeah, a little soft.
Yeah.
My day was filled with
That
aches. How come? Why?
You got that way,
You hope
like
you
you
feel
can
better
still make
soon.
205, and you might still be champ.
Maybe you just need to have more water.
Kind of wild.
Drink
Yeah.
more
Tom
water.
Aspinall ain't getting 205. That
Yeah.
guy's fucking huge.
Yeah.
And Ghana was
Especially
not.
if the weather is hot,
Francis
so you
would
need to
cut to get to 265.
drink that water.
Sure.
Which is just bananas.
Yeah.
He's a fucking hulking man. Yeah, he's a scary.
Moving out into mud is crazy. Oh my god. Okay, time to relax.
All right, Tom, International Fight Week, 2022 season, we got the heavyweight champion here in Las Vegas. I heard you a lot of times. Never had to be undisputed. We're never in a fight club. Yeah. Well, so we can, go ahead and use heavyweight, and it's not jumping. Like I said, the timing was absolutely perfect. You'll be wrestling in the US guy. That first one is available in the UK. Now it's available online. I got one of the first ones. You don't have the first one. I will have to say.
I hear it has been hot where you are. Yeah, it is. Okay, let me check.
I'm getting one of the first ones.
Let me check the right. Shadows, sign up, set sign ups. Hello girl, how are you today?
You have talked about at length.
Let me check the
John Jones.
weather.
Used to be the interim communication about happened over the weekend. They realized this is tired of doing this. How are you feeling? I mean, to be honest, I will hop around the fall fight. I did.
Here is, yeah, it is really hot. Humidity is 80%.
I always, to be honest, I always saw myself as a young.
It's very hot outside.
Look outside. Tell me how it happened. Where your father's come out, said that
29.
you knew, but you didn't know exactly.
Yours is also also bad. Weather is what happened to night.
So I have been for
See, it's 29 here. 26 there. Awesome.
just got showered just before midnight.
You know, Philippines, we don't have snow here.
Well, I knew that.
But you know, the hotness here is different compared to Manila. It's really hot.
You just don't really like it. So I would rather fall for it. I would rather take foreign country. But I honestly believe I'm already jumping in all my hand. So a little bit of risk for yourself. I feel like you were denied of the memory experience of being around or at least a press conference in Vegas, and you were coming here, a few days later, where you kind of denied a little bit of the fanfare that should come along with something heavyweight champion of the world. And I would have liked to fight for it, really, so it's not really involved me. Like, in a year's time,
You will be liking last night. You don't have liking last night. You don't have
I've said it during times last
it's a good night.
That's what I really like. Go back to
We had a walk last night and seen the stars. The sky is clear. It's awesome.
training for build up to it, finding people, putting your skills to the test. I love all that stuff like that. From that MMA, the fact that I'm not just to do that, it's really that it's all good. Yeah, and
cartels asked what they thought about Trump labeled on terrorist organizations.
They're responsible for a significant amount of the trafficking. They're telling me we're not like ISIS or the Taliban.
Do Canadians know this is happening?
Yes.
You know, there's always a potential that we send in SOCOM and JSOC units. Do they have any fear of that?
Oh yeah, you secured our southern border, we moved to Canada.
We went down to the cartels, some of the cartel members and asked what they thought about Trump labeled on terrorist organizations. What was their response to that?
Yeah, so I went to a border region where some members of organized crime spoke with me, and they're responsible for a significant amount of the trafficking and human smuggling operations. And this was right after Trump had officially declared them FTOs, because there was a lot of rhetoric around this previously, and even Texas Governor Greg Abbott had previously declared them FTOs. But now, this was real, and this, I had assumed, was going to invoke a lot of fear, especially when it came to the financial pipelines, because that's what this act really attacks, is the cartel's finances. And that's so much worse than putting a bounty on their family members or stopping the flow of drugs. Like for them, it's the money, freezing financial assets, shutting down their shell companies, whatever it is. And so I wanted to know, because we were seeing so many headlines of how crazy this is and politicians reacting. But the guys who are really going to face the brunt of this, what's going on. And so I asked them, you know, what do you think about Trump calling you and the people you work with in your networks terrorists? And how is this going to impact you? And it's so funny because I had anticipated this reaction, but I didn't. It actually was, we don't care, we're just going to wait 4 years. It's not that deep.
Wow. Wow.
We're not going to fight them on it. We'll give them what they want to see. And we are not terrorists. Because there is a demand for our product. There are drug addicts all across the United States who want what we have to sell. How are we terrorizing them? We're not, literally, they're telling me, like, we're not like ISIS or the Taliban bombing innocent people. We just supply a product that there is a demand for. And if this designation means that we have to hold off for a little while in order to protect our networks, that's exactly what we will do.
Interesting. So what do you think, what is the plan then? Are they just stop?
That's kind of what's been happening.
Across the border?
I mean, fentanyl numbers have been going down, but I don't think that's the plan. The plan is to move operations, and I've been reporting on this extensively. It's all happening in Canada. No one else is blocking it, and it's so obvious. It started during Trump's first administration when he first started cracking down on the southern border. Cartels knew they could go into Canada and they didn't need a visa like they needed to get into the U.S. It was just a regular tourist visa. They didn't need to apply for anything or pay for anything. They could just go get their tourist, like have a regular tourist visa the way I come to the United States, set up shop, negotiate and network with pre-existing organized crime groups in Canada, whether that be the Hells Angels, a big one, or Brothers Keepers, or Red Scorpion, or the United Nations gang, and saying, hey, look, you guys have incredible access, okay, over 5,000 miles of practically unprotected border into the United States. We can produce this product here and traffic it. Not to mention, a lot of these pre-existing gangs were
I don't
how large Asian
want to
populations. And what do we have in Vancouver? The port of Vancouver. And where are the fentanyl precursors coming in? From China. So you move these precursors, the movement is no longer coming into Mexico. It's coming into Canada. You set up shop, you increase profit, you tell all these guys that are already there, hey look,
Because
if
it's
you
hard
let
to
us sit
come
alone
out
or
to
at least go in to work with you guys, we're going to quadruple
for this
profits.
one. I'll see.
So wait, you're saying that no more, are you saying in addition to Mexico produce fentanyl, or it's all moved to Canada?
It's right to, and if you have left them food, that's all.
I think the majority is moved to Canada.
The majority of it's moved.
Yes. I'm 99% sure about that, because you can never be 100% sure, but I'm so sure about that. Last summer, I wanted to crack down on this story, because I had an individual reach out to me who was an operative for the Sinaloa cartel working in Canada, running these labs. And he showed me the labs that the Sinaloa cartel is operating with.
Physically?
Yep.
Where are they putting them?
They're putting them in suburban, sort of, so they're particularly in the West Coast, in BC and in Alberta, which is like a prairie province. And so there's a lot of farmland, and it's residential. And prior to this, it was meth labs that they had running out there. And there would always be like a random meth lab explosion in Abbotsford, or, you know, this is like a smaller city. And then these turned into fentanyl labs that were completely under the radar, because we also didn't have Canadian law enforcement like patrolling these areas to an extent that they would patrol in a large city like Vancouver or Toronto. So you're bringing in precursors from the Port of Vancouver easily, because less than 1% of cargo that comes into the Port of Vancouver is actually inspected by authorities, or
Less than how much?
less than 1%.
Less than 1%.
That is an official number, yes. So the majority of the cargo that's coming into the Port of Vancouver is unmonitored. And you have longshoremen that are on organized crime payroll or turning a blind eye. These precursors are being brought to labs throughout the lower mainland, and they are producing fentanyl there. And it started off as distributing this product throughout Canada, because just like the United States, there has been this insatiable appetite for fentanyl in Canada. During the pandemic, more people are probably dying of fentanyl overdose deaths than COVID. So that was a major health crisis. And then there's this major crackdown on the southern border. You already have cartel operatives established in the north. You have over 5,000 miles of practically unprotected border. You know, it's Greenland, and you can fly across, you can drive your boat across, you can drive your dirt bike across. And that just left it as open field for these members of organized crime to start to bring their operations to the next level by trafficking everything into the United States. And it's important to keep in mind that Canadian law enforcement knows this is happening. Very aware, has been aware since around 2017.
Oh, I see how that happens so far, so.
It's been happening since 2016.
Wow.
This has been, I would say, for the past 10 years exactly, is when cartel operatives from Mexico started to move operations into Canada. And law enforcement knows this is happening.
You know, there's always a potential that we send in SOCOM and JSOC units. I mean, do they have any fear of that?
I asked them about that, and they said that if American Special Forces lay their feet on Mexican soil, they will fight to the death, because they will have nothing to lose. They will put up a fight. Will we put that fight? No. But they will go down without a fight, because that's what they have. And so if their entire livelihood and their entire business is being attacked, especially by U.S. uniform operators who have every means to just squash it, they will go down with the finish.
I mean, down to what level though? You know what I mean?
To the very bottom.
To the very
Oh,
bottom.
even the local front door, yes, the guy who's a lookout, who's making pennies. When I was in Sinaloa covering this fighting in the fall, the money flow was interrupted for, you know, all levels of people working in for the cartels. And so main people who, it's like that necessary job that makes no money are the punteros, the lookouts, the guys on their dirt bikes who watch if Mexican forces are coming, they keep their eyes out for whatever's going on. Those guys make the least amount of money. They're making around $500 a month. And when the infighting began, and all of this money and resources had to go to, we need to maintain our stronghold and we need to buy arms and stockpile. These punteros were the ones losing out. And so when I was there, once it got dark, I couldn't order Uber Eats to my hotel because these guys were stealing the food from the delivery men because they didn't even have enough money to eat. But they were still working for the cartels. They wouldn't say, okay, you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna go and work in a Walmart where I'm at least gonna make a steady income. It's not great, but I have something to pay for my basic needs. Because at that point, it's not just about the money, it's indoctrination. It's about being a part of something, feeling powerful, feeling like you've been validated and accepted by the very people who are responsible for thousands of deaths and the war on drugs. They're on the FBI's most wanted posters, and I work for that guy.
Yes, it makes sense.
It makes sense to them. We don't have to understand it.
Well, I thought there would be at least a little fear, but it doesn't sound like.
We do, and based on what I've been told, whether that's what I was told at the border, whether I go and ask in Sinaloa or Jalisco or Michoacan or Guerrero, the consensus remains the same. And the people in charge are treated like gods. They are absolutely praised as if they are the one and only. I mean, that's what we see all the songs about El Mencho and Chapo and Mayo. And you can literally go to Sinaloa and buy narco merch. You get a hat with whoever's face on it. You can even buy like religious regalia that is paying homage to narco leaders. And so the people who work for them praise them. People who don't work for them praise them and want to work for them. So if you're telling this 17-year-old kid who has always wanted to be in this lifestyle, you're gonna die for me and American forces are coming in, he'll stand up. He'll probably shit his pants, but he'll do it. He'll put on face.
How many of these labs do you think have been set up in Canada? Do you have any information on that?
I think, I don't know exactly how many labs are operating in Canada, but the majority of the labs that are in Canada, which is significant because there is certainly a supply. There is no lack of drugs in Canada or in the United States, right? And especially in northern states too, where.
I can't help my face, sweetie.
I think
This is the only face I have. I can't change it.
by the cartels.
The way I
And
look.
the interesting thing is, you don't really see it in the
It's
numbers
not
or in,
normal.
My face is normal? What's wrong with you?
police
Just
investigations
now.
or press releases
My
because
face is not normal.
they don't keep track
That's so mean.
of which criminal organizations are operating in what, like which labs. So, for example, you will, someone will be arrested, three men will be arrested for trafficking arms and drugs. They were arrested in a Surrey home in British Columbia, and we found X amount of drugs, X amount of arms, with this amount of street value. They won't say, they were operating on behalf of the Sinaloa cartel. They will say, we found messages in our investigation that they were operating with Mexican associates. And some people will then subsequently be charged, and they'll be Mexican nationals living in Canada. Those guys are working for the cartels. But Canadian authority doesn't keep track, or at least not publicly, of who is working with exactly which criminal organization.
And I think that that also does play a role in allowing the cartels to flourish over there because they can operate so entirely under the radar. I mean, here in the US, for the first time a few weeks ago, a woman in El Paso was arrested for particularly working as a straw buyer for CJ&G.
Do Canadians know this is happening?
Well, if they remember where they are now. I mean, Cash Patel, director of the FBI, is now saying it publicly. He just said that they're coming in through the port of Vancouver. They're producing fentanyl. The fentanyl is coming from Canada because they haven't secured the northern border. And when I initially started reporting on this, and I was reaching out to RCMP and reaching out to CSIS and putting out my contact, everyone was telling me, no, you're wrong, this can't be. And RCMP was telling me, we have no evidence to show that local criminal organizations are working directly with cartels. But I met with cartel associates in Canada showing me the production, telling me how they're doing it.
Mike, hello.
And it goes back to what you asked me, why are they telling me this? Because they want to show you exactly how they're operating under the radar. They're so tough. And oh yeah, you secure our southern border? Fuck you, we move to Canada.
No matter where you're watching Sean Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can.
Rila, hello. My
If
new
you're
song
extra
cover.
generous,
It's
please
been
leave us a
released.
review on Apple
Check it
and
out so
Spotify.
much. Thanks for visiting. Doing great. How are you doing? Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board in here. I'd like to say thank you to the witnesses here and for taking the time. Mr. Vito, thank you for coming here. In your testimony, you said that Americans deserve a government that works, but then the government that makes their lives easier and more secure. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Great. I can read through a couple of the grants.
No, I'm not. I'm in the Philippines.
Americans deserve a government that works, and then a government that makes their lives
Where are you
easier
from?
and more secure. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Great. I can read through a couple of the grants that goes to support that. I'd like to get your take on them. They pulled back a $1.5 million NIH grant from Morehouse College. It's called the Center to Advance Reproductive Justice and Behavioral Health among Black, pregnant/postpartum women and birthing people. Do you think that makes American lives easier and more secure?
I think that medical and scientific research of all types.
Do you think that constitutes critical research according to your testimony in NIH grants or critical research?
I think that government research of all types and medical,
Including birthing people?
I think that research of all types is a
What
fundamental.
is a birthing?
Sir, I'm here to talk about the goals and
Well, I'm asking you about this grant that you're presenting here. What is
Hey, please. What's going on?
I am not familiar with this grant. I take a position that all
Well, my name is
medical, pharmaceutical, why I want to that is our focus for my expertise.
How about another one? How about the conference Gender Equity in the Mathematical Study of Quantitative Algebra? That's a valid form of government.
I think mathematical research of all types is your main
We're
cover.
not studying, this is directly from the National Science Foundation's website, women and non-binary.
Again, I think all kinds of government investment should be dedicated towards
All kinds of government. You don't have any kind of limit on what we're spending money on, everything? Is that your testimony?
I'm talking
Here.
about those, but
So,
This is here.
a grant that goes cut.
I'm not familiar with the grant, and I think government investment in mathematical, science,
Let's do another one. This one's called, hashtag transcendent health. Adapting an LGBTQ+inclusive teen pregnancy prevention program for transgender boys. I couldn't even say this without laughing. Do you think that that is a useful form of a tax bill?
I'm not familiar with that grant, but I think Ben's research, government investment in scientific and
Women's
funding.
pregnancy percentage in this way. Do you think that that is a useful spend of our tax dollars?
I believe government investment in all kinds of scientific research is of the utmost importance.
Including the pregnancy percentage. Okay. Let me ask you, we can come back to this later, maybe. You support abolishing filibuster still?
Yeah, it's still playing
I am
football.
here to talk about those respectfully.
Right, we could abolish the filibuster if you allow it. And you great have the means to talk to Twitter about abolishing the filibuster. I'm curious. Do you think that we should do that still?
I did a lot of previous work on different topics because I am an economic policy expert, and respectfully, I'm here to talk about those cuts.
Okay, but we could abolish the filibuster and get those tests is totally germane. Do you think we should?
I am here to talk about Doge cuts, not strategies for achieving more of them, but the harm they are produced for working families.
It's a convenient change of opinion. I noticed that most of your comments about filibuster were during the Biden administration. But we can move on. Let's go back to some more of these grants. Do you think that we should be spending money on both a racialized basis and great judgments from faces?
I am not at all familiar with that grant.
It's a $500,000 US grant.
Okay, I am not familiar with the subject matter.
But you're defending.
I am saying that I think the government
You're pretty adamant against those cuts, and I'm asking you. Which
Very.
goes to town?
economic, medical, public health, communal benefits.
What about prostate steroid therapy and cardiovascular risk of a transgender female?
Again, I think government investment in scientific research is
Great, thank you for your testimony, I appreciate it.
the gentleman's not.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. The laws of DoorDash and physics are undefeated for every activity. Also, rematch. First politics. So, Wednesday, massive landslide. Also, Tuesday's Amazon vote. In 2024, update of what we saw this spring was pretty big crowds for AOC and Bernie Sanders preparing to fight oligarchy. Rallies look the best. Everyone looked at this ad and said, holy smokes, AOC really going to run for president. He was like,
I am so touched to be here. I'm a broken rock. To be welcomed here in this state, all of us together, seeing our common cause, this is what this country is all about. Don't let them trick us into thinking we are enemies. Don't let them trick us into thinking we can be
so I kind of like look at this, you look at scenes like this, and you're like, well, wait a second, that's a campaign. Like, hang on, this is like a 2028 announcement right here. And also, everybody who's just being honest, ourselves included, they're like, all right, it's definitely a big crowd. You definitely go in like, I don't know, some high school or college stadium there. People, maybe they're all paid for, kind of like the Kamala Harris rallies. But it was the same. It was the same like 5,000 people at every Kamala Harris rally. They tracked this stuff up. People were tracking AOC, by the way, while she was on her way flying either first class $5,000 tickets or flying on a very expensive private jet to fight oligarchy. I mean, that's two very interesting updates on this. One, the match was gone.
Hello, everyone. Food
this
lover,
is
how
the
are you
latest
doing?
Bernie Sanders anti-oligarchy
Tapos nakikita mo ba
rally.
ako?
This was
Ngayon
in
lang.
Texas.
Food
It's in
lover
Fort
vlog.
Worth.
Wait
And
lang.
it's really
Let me
very,
check
you
your
know, it's
channel.
many. How dare you, you know?
Kamusta?
Looks like nobody's up on stage yet. Well, let me show you what it looks like an hour into the event. Rally, very empty.
Kamusta, kamusta?
Very full. Here we go. This is empty seats at the Bernie rally. This is while the event is ongoing. 1 hour into the Bernie rally. I mean, there's some seats filled, but I think it would be a stretch to say that there's like more than
Shucks, ang sakit ng tiyan.
5% of the available seating filled, right? That's great. If there was a rally that looked like that,
Food lover
there's a
vlog.
rally
Main
that
channel mo
was
to? Finally, host nakita mo din ako.
They say Trump's movement is dead, right?
Wait lang.
This is
Main
what
channel mo ba
is
to? Food
ongoing
lover.
right here. Half of the things in German, those ones completely empty. Where's German? It's here. Right there. The photo here right now. There's a reporter, by the way, on the ground, about an hour in. He says, this is a publisher.
Short videos ka lang talaga?
That is a newspaper publisher. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So he's physically there. What does it look
Mas
like
maganda
now?
mag-vlog ka.
Photos. There's another shot.
Mas nandito ako sa
Yeah,
bahay
that's a
mo.
newspaper publisher. Okay.
It's all about
So
food.
he's physically there. What does it look like now? About an hour in, he says.
Ang tiyan.
This is a publisher at current revolt, Texas newspaper publisher. Okay. So he's.
Host, alam ko po, nag-uumpisa pa lang ako. Pa-jacket po, host. Agad lang, ha? Ngayon lang din kita nakita sa channel ko.
Physically there. What does it look like now? It's posting photos. There's another shot. And I guess it is Texas. There's, you know, I think there's
Alam
like
ba,
a
kahit yung mga
cultural
friends ko,
change in the
mga
country.
3 years, 4 years na sila. Wala pa rin silang
People really
jacket.
like what President Trump is doing. President Trump is seeing record high approval numbers. He's about to beat Obama.
Kasi madaming jacket ko, hindi naman sila nagmamoderate. Kaya
Modern American history.
kahit wala ng jacket, okay lang.
And that's not good. Joe Rogan obviously noticed this. Noticed that Bernie Sanders
Baka may banana ka dyan na extra po. Sure, mamaya. Check kita, ha?
What is Bernie Sanders doing again, right?
Wait lang. Check ko na lang sa isang phone. Meron akong ano din, Lala kusina. Sige, check kita.
What is Bernie Sanders doing again, right? Kamala Harris didn't do it. Kamala Harris didn't
Idikit
do
ko sa'yo,
it.
si Lala kusina.
Right? And immediately, Bernie Sanders got just absolutely blowtorched by Joe Rogan, shutting down Senator Sanders after he tries slamming Obama for donating $270 million during the election. There was only 50 billionaires that donated during the election, and Kamala had 39 of them. Okay,
Ayun.
Elon Musk spent $270 billion. What's the most somebody donated towards Harris? They spent 1.5 billion in 100 days. 1.2 billion in 100 days. By the way, the entire Harris campaign is totally broke and is in debt actually right now. She's still sending persistent appeals for donors after her defeat. Yeah. By the way, the entire Harris campaign is totally broke and is in debt actually right now. She's still sending persistent appeals for donors after her defeat. Yeah.
Na-delete mo? Bakit naman? Sayang naman. Baka nadikitan mo din ako noon ng channel ko po ay Pambansang Lakay. O yun nga! Pambansang Lakay. Oo, nakadikit ako dati sa Pambansang Lakay. Baka naman kasi may mga strikes kayo. Mag-ingat kayo sa mga food. Naging strict si ano eh, si YouTube last year ba? As in, may kaibigan din ako, 30 plus na yata subscribers niya. Na-strike ba? Sobrang strict. Ah, seryoso? Baka pa napagod ka tapos iba yung
The
napindot mo.
point that, yeah, look at this. Billions of dollars lit on fire. Bernie Sanders been complaining about Elon Musk.
Ingat pa. Sayang naman yung ano effort.
You have now the constitutional right, because your money is
Sayang
your freedom
effort
of
pa.
expression, right? If you don't like Bernie Sanders, you can put millions or hundreds of millions of dollars into a campaign to express your view about how terrible Bernie Sanders is,
Right.
and you can buy that election, right? That's your constitutional right. I think that's probably the worst decision that the Supreme Court has ever made. What is the result of that decision?
Kaya gumawa ako
The
ba?
result of that
Oo,
decision
sige
will
lang.
take us to where we are today.
Hindi
Is
pa naman
that
huli ang
Elon
lahat.
Musk, and I know
Kaso
Elon
sayang
Musk
lang kung nagawa mo ba
is
na
here in
ano.
Austin, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And we could talk about Elon, but he spent $270 million
Oo, sayang.
when Trump was president.
Sana $600.
I think that's absurd, that any one person.
What's the most someone donated towards the Harris
Hindi
campaign?
nga ako makaabot sa $100 a
They
month.
spent a lot of money on Harris as
They
well.
spent $1.5 billion just
Come on.
over the course of a couple of months.
You got it. All right, let me talk about this.
Yeah.
I'm not using us to say it's a Republican, that's my point here.
Right.
Okay.
The absolute audacity. Didn't Mark Zuckerberg spend like $400 million to rig the election in 2024? Bernie Sanders also spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on private. The absolute audacity. Didn't Mark Zuckerberg spend like $400 million to Bernie Sanders also spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on private jets, fighting oligarchs.
Pero may Facebook page ka pa rin. Oo, mas
Bernie
maganda
Sanders
yung
out bad,
Facebook.
man.
Kaya yung mga kaibigan ko na sa YouTube. Mas pinapriority yata nila yung ano. Basta original, ano mo lang, content. Minsan kung sino pa yung nangungopya ng content, yun pa yung mataas ang views. Kaya siguro naging strict pa.
Bernie
Yung
Sanders
policy.
also spent hundreds of thousands
Kasi
of dollars on
napaka-unfair
private
minsan,
jets,
di ba, sa
fighting
original,
oligarchs.
sa owner.
Bernie Sanders down bad, man.
Doon ako nagla-live ngayon. Okay. Sige lang, kung saan ka kumikita naman natin doon sa
Mr.
work.
is perfect.
I don't wanna wait and blame.
Practical lang ba?
You know, Alyssa Slotkin, senator from Michigan, she said you shouldn't.
Ganito din yung ano mo? Or yung pabansang lakay? Or food vlog? Ano ba? Ito din yung pangalan ng ano mo? Ng Facebook page?
$221,000 on private jets fighting the oligarchy tour. Paid
May
for by friends of
Facebook
Bernie
page
Sanders.
din ako yung Wonder Lala.
That you've spent millions of dollars in campaign funds on private jet travel.
Okay, check ko.
How do you push back on both of those?
Ano yung
things?
Facebook page mo?
Donald Trump during the campaign mode at
Para
National
follow
Airport. No, it doesn't, but he's also not fighting the oligarch. No, you run a campaign and you do 3 or 4 or 5 rallies in a week. The only way you can go out to vote for 30,000 people. They're going to be sitting on a waiting line at United, waiting, while 30,000 people are waiting. That's the only way you can go out. No apologies to that. That's what campaign travel is
Ano
about. We've done it in the past, we're going to do it in the future. And you think that this is
Ito.
hitting a mark? You think it's scratching the itch that voters want to hear from?
Wonder Lala
I think
din.
at a time when the people are popular,
Yan din, Facebook page
when
ko.
seniors, working class people are struggling, people want a action to stand
Ano
up
sa'yo?
for the people
Ano yung
who have
ano
the
mo?
wealth and the power,
Yung
and
tawag
create an
dyan?
economy that works for all of us, not just the people on
Page
top.
mo.
Senator Sanders, I appreciate you coming on. Talk
Ito ba
about
food
issues.
vlog?
We'll have you back. Thank you.
Food vlog.
Thank you.
Food vlog.
Up next, the major.
What a world that we're living in, where old, dusty, and dirty communist Bernie Sanders goes on Joe Rogan's show. Joe Rogan, a guy who said he was a Bernie Sanders supporter, liked Bernie Sanders, was going to vote
Hindi ko
for Bernie Sanders,
mahanap.
right? It was just a few years ago.
Hindi ko mahanap. Ano ba yung pangalan mo?
And then just gets decimated on that series of topics, right? Everything from climate change, right, to the current state of the nation. Like Joe Rogan just goes in scorched earth, empty rallies getting destroyed on Rogan. Boys, I think we're back. Here we go.
I think the climate change issue is very complicated. And I think, did you see the Washington Post piece that they wrote?
where they did this long-term view. First of all, the reality is that the Earth's temperature has never been static, right? We could both agree on that. It's always been up and down, there's been ice ages, heat waves. And then the Washington Post looked at it. What was the time period that they looked at? That essentially they found that we're in a cooling period. That the Earth over the past X amount of years, and this was like a very inconvenient discovery, but they had to report the data, and kudos to them for doing that. Scientists have captured the Earth's climate change over the last 485 million years. Here's supplies in the place we stand now. So look at the far end of that graph, and you see we're in a cooling period.
Well, I'm not sure. I didn't know, but,
Yeah.
you know, the scientists who are out there, I think.
I know, but there's a lot of money involved in that too, Bernie. That's part of the problem. There's a lot of money involved in this whole climate change emergency issue, and there's a lot of control.
Taga California.
And that's a big part
Hindi.
of this problem.
Pilipinas lang. Tuloy ako dun. Sa Pilipinas lang ako. Nasa Iloilo ba? Iloilo tuloy ako.
All gone. All gone.
Okay. Si Jason near
Good morning, everybody.
What?
Good
Parang
morning.
binaliktad mo yata pangalan mo.
Y'all don't want to know where I'm living. I know some have because I've been emails and messages. I've just taken a little hiatus, you know, just a little break, a little time away.
Near,
A little vlogger burnout. And I've been recording projects.
dami mo lang followers,
Some of
18,000.
it, I want to put it in a series, I want to have completion on the
Sige,
job.
follow
so
ko.
I don't want to
May
do
nakita
the
ko.
series ends 2 months from now. We've had some rainy days, one after another, we wasn't.
Sa IAM ka rin.
forward.
May kaibigan ako sa IAM din siya.
Vex yet, because either we had guests here, and the people trying to pass back and forth, we need to pour concrete back. Wasn't able to do that, and then the rain on top of that, can't do that. So, I just, the guys kept taking days off, blame them, they got stuff going on, my daughter, times problems that go, had some things done and all. So, in the midst of all that, I started really enjoying not being in front of the computer. I was really enjoying not dealing with a camera. I'm sorry, I'm just telling the truth, you know. I'm back in the mood. Back in the
Ikaw,
mood.
saan ka?
Rainy
Ikaw yata sa
season in the
California.
Philippines. Well, man, look at that tree. It's like 11 foot tall over there now. It's growing leaps and bounds. Unreal. Yeah, rainy season in the fields. The Philly fields. The old Filipino. Filipino.
Texas, Filipina.
Yeah, nice now. You can just listen to the waves crashing. Boom! Let's go out here and check out the waves crashing. These vines are really growing like crazy right now. But the reason I really don't want to cut them away is because that's nature's way of holding the sand. Those things grow roots in
San
that
Diego.
sand all along.
Sa LA, ito yung ano ko, classmate ng high school.
And with water, big waves,
Sa Iloilo kami
like a big
host.
typhoon, it would just
Ay, sa Iloilo.
kind of wash over them,
Sa
and
Pinas,
and it
sa
takes
Pinas. Sa
the
Iloilo
sand
ako.
away. Yeah.
Buti hindi kayo dyan na ng tawag dyan ng sunog nakaraan. Madaming sunog. Okay na mga alon ngayon. Tapos parang ano eh. Parang may bagyo.
So today my task is to move all my plants to the hiding area.
Oh, yes.
This is all my plants here. And of course, I was always taking care of this. I don't want to see my plants just destroyed, just one glimpse, you know. Of course, it is too windy and it is the season of the habaga. So for now, I think till the weather is clear, I think I mean like January, sorry. From June, July, August, September, I think I just put my plants here. And then the time that's at per months, rest the wind, so we go to rotate back to where they are. Now, I just want to make it sure that I don't see if guys, so it's time to tago-tago muna our tanim. Tago muna. Make sure they are safe.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Breezy. Wave slamming day, boy. The waves are slamming outside out there. Yep. It is rainy season. Stormy year.
Rainy season in the Philippines.
MSNBC, CNN, because you, and I mean specifically you, the press, specifically you, the press corps, because you cheer against Trump so hard, it's in your DNA, in your blood, cheer against Trump, because of the hatred of this press corps. Do you have a top secret clearance, sir? Okay, the American General up on yours. The one who misrepresents the most intentionally.
Acknowledge the female pilots who also participated in this mission. The early messages that you sent out, we're going to get you a deal. You're a fact checker, as we all know.
Fact checker. Unemployed for CNN as a fact checker.
Look, Jaws, please like those videos. Honestly, don't even your likes.
I thought Marco Rubio was the king of debate. But except what I just watched today, this morning, the guy was completely on fire. You guys are probably wondering, why is Trump administration
Two loads,
so
I
hard
think. 2 loads.
against the woke media? Because they have to. They have to fight. What really grossed me out when I was a police officer, the news were not our friends. They were our enemies. Every chance they got, they would report inaccurately on them. And my boss always said, hey, we need to have a good relationship. We need to have a good relationship with the news. No, we don't. Don't they sit there and lie about us? And Trump was the same way. I love him. We should have fought back, beat him, and then won. Next step, and then we're going to start with Carolyn Levitt. That's the second of Carolyn Levitt on Fox News last night. Lost 11 women.
No other president in history could ever dream of such a success, and that's exactly why the fake news media is now trying to demean and undermine the president. And we've seen this playbook be run before. You have hostile actors within the intelligence community who illegally leak bits and pieces of an intelligence assessment to push a fake news narrative. And that's what the CNN story was yesterday. And it's not a coincidence that it was written by the exact same CNN reporter who wrote the original story, falsely alleging that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation.
I watch CNN because my job, let me tell you, if they're not saying it, they have people come on that they interview that put a negative spin on everything that Trump does.
Because it was under President Trump's leadership, because Americans were responding to him as commander-in-chief, the press corps doesn't pull right now.
So we're going to see this
The highly successful strikes. Let me get the bottom line. President Trump directed the most complex and secretive military operation in history
And it was a resounding success, resulting in a ceasefire agreement and the end of the 12-day war, decimating, choose your word, obliterating, destroying Iran's nuclear capabilities. I want to read some of the assessments that have been provided, because whether it's
hello. I'm
That's
live.
fantastic. I just thought I'd say something. The principal at my daughter's school told them that they don't call it tug of war anymore. It's called tug of peace. They were supposed to do tug of peace yesterday. But on the way to school, the principal was listening to the radio, and somebody on the radio recommended don't do tug of peace because their kids might break their leg. And this man is supposed to be a man. It just makes me sick how woke the world still is. And my daughter told me it, and she wanted to see my crazy reaction. Because she knows it. Look at the water. Okay. See, this is the kind of thing the press does, right? Of course, the chairman mentioned a female bomber pilot. That's fantastic. She's fantastic. She's a hero. I want more female bomber pilots. I hope the men and women of our country sign up to do such brave and audacious things. But when you spin it as I say our boys and bombers, common phrase, I'll keep saying things like that. Whether they're men or women, I'm very proud of that female pilot, just like I'm very proud of those male pilots. And I don't care if it's a male or a female in that cockpit, and the American people don't care. But it's the obsession with race and gender in this department that's changed priorities. We don't do that anymore. We don't play your little games. Yes, right there. So I'm not aware of any intelligence that I've reviewed that says things were not where they were supposed to be.
And I love this part. I kept on watching CNN, and immediately they go to a fact checker, a CNN employee fact checker.
I want to go to Daniel Dale, who was our fact checker, as we all know, is that rain true or that rain false?
Well, a few things here. The secretary referred to fake news CNN and then immediately proceeded to effectively confirm CNN's reporting. Again, emphasize that the intelligence assessment was preliminary, made with low confidence. That's exactly, again, what CNN reported. He also tried to back up President Trump's assertion that these nuclear facilities were completely and totally obliterated by forcefully reading out quotes from others who did not say the same thing. I read quotes asserting that the nuclear sites had been badly damaged, severely damaged, and that the nuclear sites had been badly damaged, severely damaged, despite that enormous damage. None of that is synonymous with complete obliteration. The secretary also asked rhetorically if the media had been reporting like an enormous challenge on pilots of conducting a body mission this long. Well, guess what? CNN did a couple days ago on Michael Williams' wrote a story talking about some of the missions that began that this mission was, quote, massive undertaking that required each bomber pilot to test the limit of human endurance during a 37-hour mission. So, yes, CNN reported this. And then fourth, just in passing, the secretary asserted that this was the most complex military operation in history. I guess that's something I can't definitively fact check, but I'm sure that some military historians would continue that point to things like the D-Day, for example.
Okay, one thing, so left here now.
He died in a mission. Successful. Hey, I have a feeling I'm going to be making a bunch of these today. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Fact checker. Unemployed for CNN as a fact checker.
What do you want for lunch later? Salmon or mackerel?
I'm hungry now.
You hungry now?
I'll take cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger.
Cheese bread.
We only have bacon.
What?
Yeah. One good cheeseburger. Cream cheese.
We didn't have cheese?
Cream cheese, bagel.
It's gonna be bread.
Huh?
It's gonna be bread.
Let's go get bread. Let's go get bread. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Let's go. Let's go get bread. Let's open the here. And then awesome weather. Okay, the view is here for a while, guys. It's awesome. Okay. It's awesome view here. Ta-da! Awesome view there. So that will be a future view. Call center companies, both buildings. And then you are seeing the Jollibee. Lately, it's quite busy. It's Friday today, so it will be traffic later. Very, very traffic. That's the view for a while. We'll go out and buy some bread first. Ayan, nice view. I don't know what's the button. Wait, I'll just put it on.
The gentleman's time has expired. I now recognize Ms. Crockett from Texas for 5 minutes.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd actually like to subpoena, the former head of Doge, if we could subpoena Elon Musk. Can we take a vote on that?
This hearing will suspend.
Is the clerk in place? Do we have a clerk? Can I make a motion that we subpoena Elon Musk right now?
The hearing has suspended.
Okay.
Damn, did you? This guy looks nuts. He's a Democrat for congressman out of Detroit. That dude's hairstyle's like a 80s punk band. It's the year 2025. I can tell something's wrong with this dude by just looking at him. This dude's been voted into Congress. Yeah, well, Detroit. Hey, but before we get to today's video, we just launched a new coffee. Damn good coffee. 50% Columbia, 50% Brazilian, non-GMO, manufactured right here in the United States by your peeps favorite black guys. Anything you buy on our site there, officialhousepoints.com, if you automatically enter win our new giveaway, which is a Jeep card. 10,000 in cash. Let's get the nutcase. You cut this dude out.
This is Congressman Sri Canada. Donald Trump has already done real damage to our democracy. But defying a unanimous 9-0 Supreme Court ruling, that has to be the final straw. It's top.
That's the Supreme Court ruling is talking about. It's ambiguous. Yeah. It didn't clearly say Trump did was wrong. I'm thinking they don't want to get involved. They want the president just to be president. Look, if Trump wants to deport people out of the country illegally, that's a prerogative. If Joe Biden wants to let millions of illegal aliens into our country, I guess you just say that's his prerogative. Just let him be president. Y'all had nothing to say on was bringing all these people in. Now y'all got something to say on the report. Why is that? The Supreme Court judges didn't say anything was bringing all these people in. Yeah, because I don't think the Supreme Court wants to bring president to number. They want the president to be president. Man, check out this dude's grill at the bottom.
Shouldn't take an hour.
The symphony of texture and aroma. Indulge in our juicy breakfast sausage. Pure fruit deli. For those who are always on a mission. Keep the internet.
Grill at the bottom. Hey, Pete, this dude looks nuts. This is like an SNL sketch. You know, I'm gonna just play this through.
Time we impeach Donald J. Trump. The court said the wrongfully deported Hilmer Garcia must be allowed to return and receive due process. Trump ignored it. He ignored it.
Wait a minute. Why do these people get due process when they just come to our country legally? They don't abide by due process when it comes to coming to our country. Why do we gotta give due process when we kick them out?
Constitution, he ignores the very checks and balances that keep our democracy intact.
That's the part about democracy. You can go ahead and give due process. Yeah, y'all know why we want these illegal processes, right? It's in our country. If you take all these illegal people from our country, guess how many seats the Democrats lose to Republicans in the House?
Cheesy. On my slice too.
You're cheesy.
Cheese?
More my cheesy.
I said.
You're cheesy.
I said. You will.
I never heard say
I
the word.
mean. You're cheesy.
You're cheesy.
Cheesy. Oh. What's going on? It's simply the best. Maglobat na.
Democrats lose to Republicans in the House. They said about 10 to 15. Yeah, because it's based, the number of representatives we had in our when it comes to Congress, it's based on the population. The population is based on the census. And the census counts for everybody, whether you're legal or illegal. And that's why they fight for these things. Because it's fixed for them.
Coffee?
This is it's just a dangerous, deliberate pattern. That's what
It's the same for y'all. That's why y'all got all these things. It's fixed for Congress. Because of the illegal population that you take all this to democracy. Yeah.
chilling. Hello. Thank you so much. How are you doing?
This video brought to you by Taylorstore.com. Taylorstore.com, ladies and gentlemen, it is the season. You can't make this up. Joy Reed, Milk Dud Reed herself. The second, now she the first double black person on planet Earth. Probably the top 5 double women on the planet Earth. And the only reason I say she's number 1, I thought she was number 2 because I thought Whoopi was done. But then she came back and she got the position over Whoopi. I thought what Whoopi said about Iran was the dumbest thing ever until I heard it before.
I find it rather extraordinary that we are very casually having a conversation about the tactical success and failure of dropping a few thousand.
She had. You're on TV looking like you're a youth trick. You can't be ugly and stupid. If you want to be ugly, you gotta be smart. Like, y'all gotta, hey, everybody out there watching, can you learn your strengths and weaknesses? Just like, I'm not trying to be mean to nobody. I just can't say it how I feel. If it's fair, you gotta have a good attitude.
Successful failure of dropping a few thousand.
She had, I was going to say that's a handsome woman right there. You're on TV looking like you're a youth trick. You're smart. At least have a nuanced perspective. You can't be dumb, mean, and that just ain't gonna work. You already got she's a trinity of stupid. Look at that shit. Some people get mad when I say the word trinity. She's the trifecta of stupidity. She's dumb, ugly, and mean. That's good. I mean, go back. Get it back. Don't judge me, pray for it. Roll it.
I find it rather extraordinary that we are very casually having a conversation about the tactical success or failure of dropping a 3,000-pound bomb on a sovereign country that did not attack us. And we are failing to unpack or even address, as we're discussing whether or not it was effective how we bombed Iran, whether Donald Trump is correct in saying we obliterated their facilities, and not asking why on earth is the United States bombing a country that did not attack us? What on earth are we doing there at all? And
these people are the masters. Yeah, that's a good shirt. Masters of flavor. You got to be careful. People may say something else. But masters of flavor. Bombing the country. We didn't bomb the country. We bombed a nuclear facility. That's a big difference. We didn't go there just dropping bombs on infrastructure and people and all kind of stuff like we're at war. We dropped bombs on specific locations, and that's it. We got out of there.
And why is it that there is this arrogance in the West and in the United States to say that we get to decide who can have nuclear energy? We get to decide that, and not just decide it, we get to act on it and drop bombs on a country that didn't attack us. We have no business dropping bombs on Iran. And so the question of whether the tactic worked or not, to me, ignores the fundamental moral question at hand. And I think that I'm not alone probably among Americans who are saying that this was something that we had absolutely no right to do.
But the United Americans recognize that the 46.
We're going to get to it, but let me stop real quick. First
There's no way that's done.
You don't have to wait for somebody to kill you to do it. We got laws in the books today in America.
Just down, right?
You got a man
But it needs to be on there for a long time.
to kidnap a kid and take advantage of that kid. You get arrested for attempted, right? You got the man fighting. You don't have to wait till he kidnap the kid. When he's telling you, I'm going to kidnap this person and do this to him, he got it in the manifesto, he's rapping about it in his music, he's telling you about it every time he talks about it, he hates this family, and he say, I'm going to kidnap this kid and do this. And he's building up he got the plan, he got the gloves, he got the alibi, he's doing all this, and you go, we got to wait till he do it first. Let's let the kid get hurt first, then we get arrested. That's not how it works, bro. You over there talking reckless about America. Y'all got intelligence to say you're building a nuclear bomb. We're gonna come over there and knock y'all off. That's just what's gonna happen. We don't have to wait for you to drop a nuclear bomb on us if it's too late. If you bring the stuff out there, we gonna come and we gonna do our business. Roll it. If you bring the stuff out there, we gonna come and we gonna do our business. Roll it.
Years, Iran has been at war with us, starting with the hostage crisis.
I mean, there's that too.
How about democracy? Why are we doing this? Because Israel has a democracy like the United States of America. Joey, the fact that you're back.
Democracy is not like the United States of America. I'm sorry. In the United States, people who are LGBTQ people can't even serve in the military under the president you prefer.
Okay, they are.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're only a little bit, they're allowed to live, but they're not allowed to serve in the United States military. They're being persecuted. They can't have their schools. The United States is not exactly a billion of civil rights for gay people.
I was distracted. Go back and look at what she said. Did she say what I think she said?
Iran has been at war with us, starting with the hostage crisis.
I mean, there's that too.
How about democracy?
am this real person. Yeah, this is really me now. Like, I'm living my best life. On the pillow every night crying. I'm living my best life. I am trans. And they hate it. And they can't change it because their mama and them did it to them when they were kids. They grow up like, oh man, my people don't work. Your mama done screwed you. They should let you turn 18 and figure out if you want your baby to work or not. Can you imagine? They go and transition you and you're like, okay, I want to go back. Oh, what you mean I can't go back? You can't go back, bro. You can take, you can do whatever you want to take the implants out, whatever. Your Johnson and Johnson don't work.
Okay, thank you so much for
And
joining
imagine
here. The
like
next
being a man with Johnson
one.
working. That's suicide. And all right, let me not say that. But people